Hello and welcome to the Pig and Whistle Tales from Azeroth. As always here at the Pig and Whistle Inn in Stormwind, I go through a variety of subjects with regards to World of Warcraft. I grab a bottle or a pint, sit back and enjoy. This episode we'll be going over some more forum posts, something very simple, but we're going to be looking at 4 of them depending on how long I go over certain subjects. But most of them, or a couple of them, are to do with PvP. Others are a bit more, miscellaneous kind of deal. They're all very good fun, though. And once again, with these forums, I don't mean anything by these. I don't, want to get into any scraps about them. Again, I'm trying to just give my own opinion on them and whether my opinion is right or wrong compared to them. Well, I always think my opinion's right, but in terms of I'm giving a counterpoint to them or I agree with them, that kind of deal. You know what I mean? So let's jump into the weekly news. I meant to say jump or get, and it kind of mixed into one. But Basil, Zakali Elders, and Aerostar are your weekly world bosses for the week. The all located within, where's Basil again? Azure Span, that's the one, Zaralak Caverns, and the Emerald Dream. World quests are your bonus event for the week. Essentially, you get more reputation for completing these world quests. South Shore versus Terra Mill is your brawl for the week. If you have a potato PC, do not do this brawl. It will blow up. I'm really sorry. I do have to say, though, if you have time, this is one of the most enjoyable brawls in the game. I really do have to say that. It is very, very fun and very engaging, to be honest, especially if you're a caster and have loads of AoE. Incorporeal, Sanguine, and Fortified are your mythic affixes for the week. Incorporeal, you essentially just... what is it? You dodge the spirit. It's essentially, if you're standing still, you start to fade, so you want to move. Sorry, that's the one. Sanguine, when you kill a mob, it will leave a pool on the floor. You want to move away from this pool. Don't let mobs stand in the pool. Avoid the red goo on the floor. It's that simple. And Fortified. Enemy non-boss enemies have more health and damage, and anything they spawn do as well. So bring a talent build that can accommodate for that. So these are the 4 that I've picked out. I've got more solo shuffle crap that I don't understand. Scripting by top ladder players, ninja guilds, and GMs are banning legitimate multi-boxers. All of them are actually quite fun. I'm going to try and get through all of them, but we'll start off with more solo shuffle crap I don't understand. That's not me, that's this guy posting. So, I recently made a post where me and the other healer went 3 and 3, and I got 2 points, and he got 50. Even after some people trying to explain to me how that it is valid, I really don't get it, and it is blatant how that would discourage any newcomer. Well, I just did a game where I won 4 of 6 rounds, won 19 points, and the other healer won 2 rounds, won 53 points. My starting MMV is 1566, the other was 1562. My new rating is 1585, and his is 1527. I'm sure there's some mathematical answer, or maybe later he will be losing rating, or whatever. But to be blunt, it's complete garbage, and seeing this happening over and over, my last 3 games I went 4-2, 5-1, 4-2. Feels like a slap in the face to have the opponent gain more for playing inadequately. Okay, I understand what he's saying, but he's looking at the wrong numbers. He really is looking at the wrong numbers. So what he's done here, essentially, is that he's looked at his starting MMV, which is his hidden MMR, essentially. So he's 1566 hidden MMR, and he's won 19 points for his hidden MMR, and it's gone up to 1585. Yeah? This guy that he's against is 1562 and has lost, but he's 1 rating. So if he's playing at this rating, and his hidden MMR is this 1562 number, the person that he's against, and he is currently 900 rating, then his maximum, kind of think of it as a maximum MMR almost, it will drop down, which it did to 1527, so his hidden MMR dropped down, but his rating isn't quite caught up with his hidden MMR. So he still gets points to get him to that hidden MMR, but his maximum or his hidden MMR, which is his matchmaking rating, has gone down. So he will be playing with people who are lower at that lower maximum matchmaking rating compared to the guy who won 4 and 2 and went up a bit of MMR. He will play at people who are near 1600, whereas the other guy will play with people who are at 1500 because of that hidden MMR that's changed. He might go up 53 points in rating, but that's just because he's not at his rating yet, whereas you were. If that all makes sense. It really is a kick in the balls, but essentially the hidden MMR doesn't mean anything. It's your current MMR if you get points or not. If you are, I'll make this very simple, 2000 hidden MMR. You are at 1500 current rating, okay? So you're missing 500 essentially. You lose all 6 games. Yeah? All six. At a 2000 MMR game. Like, everyone within that lobby is 2000 MMR, and you go 0-6, you lose all 6 rounds. You will not lose rating because your current MMR, which was at 1500, did not exceed or was around the same as that hidden matchmaking rating. What it will do is give you 0 rating change to your current rating, and it will drop your hidden MMR quite drastically, if that makes sense. So you'll go down, in terms of hidden matchmaking rating, about 100 of that, 100 to 200, somewhere like that, most likely. Yeah? Depending on if you've lost the ones previously, won the ones previously, all of that shit. That's what it is. But if you were to take it as he was at 2000 rating, both hidden and current MMR, and he went 0-6, lost all rounds, he would go down about 100 current rating as well as his MMR. It would drop with him, so it would be the exact same most likely. It'll be stuff like that. Okay? So that's the meaning behind it, and he's looking at 2 completely different things. Alright? He's looking at the hidden MMRs here, but he went up in his current, rating, which he hasn't stated here, so I imagine he didn't look at it at all. So that's where he's getting the confusion. I'm sorry if it's a bit confusing to everyone, because I'm saying MMR a lot and I'm saying a lot of numbers, but I'm hoping the example I gave kind of makes a bit of sense, and I can see how this is a bit discouraging for any newcomer, and it's just something that you've got to get used to. Your hidden MMR is completely different from your current. Your current is obviously what gives you your rewards. So your gladiator, your elite, your duelist, your rival, your challenger, all of that stuff. It gives you them rewards. Whereas your hidden MMR will constantly boost that current rating up if you need to go up or if you need to go down, that kind of thing. So it's a very simple one to start off with, but can be discouraging. And if you are around your normal MMR, so if you're on your hidden MMR and you're going 3-3, so you're basically drawing with people who are the exact same rating as you, hidden MMR wise, obviously you're not going to go up or down. You're going to stay the same. And the game will realize this and be like, oh, okay, this is about where you belong. So you've really got to punch through and grind it out to actually start increasing your rating to go up, if you are in that sort of stale period, essentially, for your matchmaking rating. It's one of them things. But let's move on to the next one. Scripting by top ladder players, botlight. Is it even looked upon by other players as a bad thing when you have top players, even streamers, using private scripts that were written for them? Not straight up botting, but more like light botting. Okay, botting is botting. There's no light botting, there's no hard botting. It's cheating. Quite a few top players use them during live ladder, and with AWC not being on BlizzCon, you are starting to see this even in AWC games. They are talented players, but it gives them an even bigger edge Most of them are rationalizing it as rationalizing it that they have to in order to fight the botters. Not going to name and shame, it doesn't serve a purpose, but they know who they are, and it would surprise many of us who actually is using these private scripts. Firstly, naming and shaming is one of the best things that you can do for people who are botting and cheating. You name and shame them because it provides awareness for it. Not naming and shaming them doesn't help at all, because if they're cheating and you're not naming and shaming them, then they're just going to carry on cheating. Whereas if you name and shame them, then they've got a spotlight on them, and if they stop cheating and you see a drastic decrease on how they play, then you realise, oh, okay, they are basically carried by these scripts essentially in the game. There are 2, maybe 3 scripters doing this, and it's quite well known since the community is small. What say you? Is light scripting a bad thing, or is it an okay sin? It's cheating. It's cheating, it's just cheating. Okay? People who bot, people who have kick bots, rotation bots, anything like that in the game, it is cheating. For those of you that do not know what this is, essentially you can... There's a good video about it, actually. You can, for an elemental shaman is the best example, bind everything to one button. Yeah? Everything. Absolute, your entire DPS rotation. Okay? So if you have enough Maelstrom, it will cast Earthshock. If you have a Lava Burst proc, it will cast Lava Burst. And if you have Flame Shock, you just simply Flame Shock someone. That's it. All on one button. You don't have to do anything else at all. That's botting. Okay? And the thing is, it's not a macro for it. It is, you use it like some sort of system. I can't remember, but essentially it is cheating. Others are kick bots. Now, these kick bots kick people at a certain percentage of their cast. So at 70% cast, kick this target, that kind of deal. It can kick instantly, it can kick whenever. It will never miss a kick, essentially. All right? This is cheating. And these macros that you can use for it, it's very frowned upon. It is a game mechanic, but it isn't a game, and Blizzard have stated that, or Blizzard have basically said that it shouldn't be in the game, and, it is a form of cheating. But essentially, you do conditions for stuff. So there was one where if grounding totem was down, you wouldn't Hammer of Justice into it for a paladin. So you would never miss a Hammer of Justice. Even if you're pressing the button to Hammer of Justice, which is your stun, on a target, and they press grounding totem, it wouldn't let you use that Hammer of Justice until that grounding totem's gone. And these things are just something that you can't outplay. You simply can't, hence why it is kind of cheating. Now, this can be done in a macro, but I think there's very big conditions to it. But again, it is frowned upon, very much so, and there are people who do cheat. They kick bot, they rotation bot, that kind of deal. And it's ridiculous. It's not an okay sin. People who do cheat or bot should be banned from the game, and should be banned if they do compete in the higher levels of the game, should be banned from the competitions as well. That's as simple as it should be, and there's not really much more to it, in my honest opinion. It should just be that black and white about it. There shouldn't be any, maybe they're botting. No. If they're botting, they're cheating. If they're not botting, they're not cheating. It's that simple, in my honest opinion. And it should be clamped down upon a little bit more, especially those who use just, I was going to say a one-button rotation, but, that's warrior, that's shaman. Ones who actually use or cheap out on it, essentially, to get the perfect rotation, that kind of shit. Next one. This one's a bit different. I'm going to go through this. There's names in here and guilds. I'm not going to read them out, but let's see what it says. I got about halfway through this, but it's just a wall of text. So, some players from the guild known as, I'm not going to say it, such as these players, are telling me that it is okay to need on every item dropped in a dungeon even when they can't use it, so they can DE it. This guy is the worst for this. Second person tells me that I should have asked why he was needing on all the items, and I would have told them, and I would have been told that they wanted them to DE. Well, it just so happens, first guy was asked in a dungeon, and his response was, for my off-spec. Another lower item level player actually needed the item, but he didn't care. Didn't offer it to them, just DE'd it. Second person continues to defend his members, saying that it's fine to do this, and I'm the Sook. No idea. Sook crying in LFG chat, telling people about their ninjaing. I was hoping all this BS wasn't around anymore. And I will say, oh my god, it's just a wall of text. I'm losing where I am. And I will say it. But a lot of Horde players have their heads so far up their butts with no manners, respect, or even decency. They forgot that there were low levels ones and needed things to better their tune. I played Alliance for quite some time and seriously didn't seem to happen half as much. Most of the players were respectful to each other, even in leveling. Yeah, no chance. But seriously, this guild and its members should be given a wide berth. I know a lot of responses to this will tell me that I'm being childish, go back to the Alliance if it's better, blah blah blah. But it is a typical response of people these days. It is so hard for people to be respectful and show a bit of kindness towards other players. It's easier than just being an ugly person, call them sooks, etc. The name of the guild, from my experience so far, is just a guild full of toxic people with bad attitudes who like to ninja. They find it better and easier to belittle people and being supposedly grown adults. That's just really sad. Okay. Firstly, let's dissect this. There are so many guilds. There are guilds who are dicks. Massive dicks. They only care about themselves. And if something does go wrong, they will shoot their own guildies in the foot just to get out of like any sort of form of liability. There's loads of these guilds. There's at least a couple on every server, but it's down to your server to find them out, and basically stay clear of them. We've had a couple on our server where they invite a couple pugs and they say, oh, it's a soft reserve thing. And then they just start ninjaing all the loot for themselves, even if like the pugs soft reserve them. And if there is an item that drops and the pug soft reserved it, they will kick the pug out of the raid and not give them their item. They've gone to that length before, and it is absolutely crazy to think that some people get this worked up over gear in terms of oh my god, it's all mine, it all has to be mine. It's absolutely ridiculous and it shouldn't be in the game. But again, Blizzard can't do anything about it because it is community based, and I will always go back to this. We as a community do tend to make the game a lot more toxic than what it actually is. As for this guild, the people disenchanting stuff, it's very dickish. It is a very dick move. And I like this guy's post, actually. He's genuinely concerned for this guild and telling people to just stay away from them and stuff like that. And I think that this is probably one of the good guys. And again, you have to sieve through a lot of shit in order to find the good people in it. But yeah, it's very sad just to see, essentially, that some people like this are in the game. And it's more common than what you think. You see a couple people being a dickhead every now and again. But if you're being shafted this much by a guild, you're, outnumbered essentially 1 to 9. No one's going to back you up, and you know that they are in the wrong. And it's oh, well, go fuck yourself, really. You have no chance. You can't. It's your word against theirs. And you're the one calling them out for stealing, but they're all guilty, so they're going to back each other, that kind of deal. And these people are the worst. Usually they hang around in guilds because it's a bunch of... It's a cesspool of just dickheads. And eventually, they'll turn on each other and get their own, but it is a bit shit. But I'm really glad this guy brought it up, and I hope that, whatever he goes into, next in terms of, group content wise, he doesn't have to deal with them at all, and he finds someone that he can actually enjoy the game with another guild or something like that. But let's move on to the last one. This one's very weird. It is GMs are banning legitimate multi-boxes. I don't know what to think about this. So I do not multi-box. I have always felt it is an unfair advantage, but I know people that do. I know people that love doing it and would continue to do it if they were permitted. Okay, firstly, I've never multi-boxed. Secondly, I do think it is an unfair advantage. Okay, your GMs are now banning people that are mass reported by players in the game that do not know the difference between multi-boxing, which is against the TOS, and cheating. Their bans say that they are hacking. 20 plus appealers. They are still banned, and GM insists their bans will be upheld. If you want to multi-box, if you want to make multi-boxing against TOS, I'm completely fine with that. There's a process to this. Unban the players that were unjustly banned for legitimately multi-boxing. Make multi-boxing against the TOS, they will stop multi-boxing. They won't stop multi-boxing. There are numerous threads popping up from all the forums as well on the Reddit from people with decade-old accounts that have been banned for multi-boxing legitimately. This needs to be resolved. It's beyond frustration that your automated ban system sinks players and they have no recourse to fix bans placed due to incompetence from random players and your CS team. I have guildmates that haven't been on in 3 weeks because your last big ban wave included people who aren't cheating, who were merely mass reported by players that didn't know that multi-boxing is not against the TOS. I don't hear from the armchair brigade about how happy they are that multi-boxers are getting banned. It's not against TOS. Stop reporting players for assuming you can tell the difference between multi-boxing and bossing. I assume that you just don't know the difference. A game master instructed me to post this here. Okay. Firstly, multi-boxing is a kind of cheating. Now, the way that this is, in my opinion, is because what multi-boxing is, you have, we'll say 5, a nice round number. You make a character, and you have 4 other of the same class following that one character. You're playing that one character, and when you cast a spell on your first character, your first mage, you cast a frostbolt on your first mage, the duplicates, the 4 other mages, cast frostbolt at the same target. So you have 5 frostbolts being casted. Okay? 5 frostbolts on one mob. That's going to kill the mob. Yeah? So do you see how this is a problem in open world game where there is PvP, and if you come across a multi-boxer, you are probably dead because all they do, run up to you, press fire blast, and then 5 fire blasts are hitting you at the same time. So it's 5 times the damage on everything. 5 times the damage, 5 times the survivability almost with 5 frost novas. You know, everything is 5 times if you're multi-boxing. This is a form of cheating. How it isn't, and how you're saying that this is stupid, that people are getting banned for multi-boxing, is crazy. I don't think it's any news that people or Blizzard have banned multi-boxers in the past. I came across a couple back in when Classic was Classic, back in 2019, 2020, and I got absolutely shafted by this mage. He ran up to me in Chillwind Camp, pressed Fire Blast, and I died within 0.0 seconds of him pressing Fire Blast, because there was about 8 mages. Like, he's one of the mages, and he's got 7 other mages following him, copying the spells that he's doing. How is that fair? How in an open world, like, PvP server, is that fair? Please explain that to me. That is the definition of cheating, because you're timesing everything by 8. Now, if you've got 8 accounts, and you're, like, playing each account, so you tab out, tab back in, tab out, tab back in, that's fine. That's not multi-boxing. Multi-boxing is running scripts in order to get these, like, these copies, essentially, to cast the same spell. So it is scripting. And again, like the previous one, where if you have any sort of script that is helping you with your rotation or kickbotting, anything like that, it's a form of cheating. They have said in the past that multi-boxing is a form of cheating, or No, they've said that they've banned people from multiboxing and that it isn't ethical and stuff like that, and you will be punished for it. But it is cheating essentially because you're timesing everything by 5. The fact that you're trying to defend multiboxing, I don't understand because you can't. Essentially, it's not fair, and you can't legitimately multibox. Surely, I might be completely in the wrong here, but I don't get how people think that it's fair to run around with 6 copies of your character and just kill someone immediately, or farm an elite mob immediately, or you could raid with that, like, by yourself. How is that fair? At all. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know. I could be completely in the wrong with it. That one's for you guys to really sort of discuss and decide. But I just don't like multi-boxers. I'm not going to lie. I'm not keen on what they do. I think it's very cool that they can do that with like multiple copies of their character. But I think if they go around terrorizing people and stuff and ruining the economy in the game, then I have no time or place for them personally. But that is it for this episode. Thank you all very much for listening. As always, do check out all of the socials down below. Constant stuff happening over there. But thank you all very much for listening once again. And go with Valor, friend. Goodbye all.